We do. Okay.
Good evening to Swissvale Borough's regular council meeting for November 5th, 2025. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Let's go through our roll call. Dr. Alfonso Wells could not be with us this evening. Mr. Haynes.
Present.
Mr. Miser.
Here.
Mr. Quinn.
Present.
Ms. Stribling. Present. And Mayor Swartzwelder. Here. We have a few public comment beforehand. I did want to share a brief statement. Many of you are aware of an incident that took place in the borough of Swissvale earlier this morning between a Swissvale employee and another motorist. Does Mr. King happen to be present? I know he was invited to the meeting. Well, I just want to say that I was embarrassed on behalf of Swissvale that one of our employees would behave in such an appalling manner. I know there are a lot of citizens that are angry, rightfully so. I feel like I can speak on behalf of some of the conversations I have had individually with elected officials that we all share in your anger over this. I want you to know that the council has taken immediate action and will continue to work towards ensuring that this behavior does not happen again in the future. And I am happy to report that the employee is no longer employed by the borough this time. With that being said, we do have three public comment. First, I would go to Terry Ward to speak about SEDCO. Right.
Good evening. I'm giving you the SEDCO update for London Vibes. Nice one. Okay, so, okay.
Teach your voice.
I've been retired for a while. I know.
It's a big radio bite.
First up, we wanted to talk a little bit about SEDCO and participating in community days, and we'd like to thank the borough as well as the DPW for a really wonderful afternoon, and we were very, very happy to be part of that. So thanks. For appeal grants, we have to date received 35 applications. 30 of which are complete, and we've awarded $6,281 to 26 home and business owners. We have 4 more applications that are complete and are ready for approval at our next meeting. We have a community data walk where SEDCO is continuing to work with Pitt and Youngstown State to map our vacant lots. The students are looking for Swissvale residents to volunteer an hour of their time to discuss the history of some of these lots so that they can be documented as part of the map series. More details will be available in the Swissvalian and on the borough website. The business district is also one of our focuses right now. SEDCO has been evaluating ways to address the needs of our business district in order to make it a more viable and welcoming space. And we have conducted initial interviews with some of the business owners in the community. It was a very, very eye-opening experience. But we're still consolidating all the information that we received. But many of them expressed concern of the lack of code enforcement for damaged and unsafe buildings, especially in the Sherman block, which brings up the whole, we would like to wondered if there was anyone who could fill us in on what's being done to address the convenience store in the Sherman block that was damaged for quite some time now. It's unsafe and a detriment, and we aren't sure if there's anything SEDCO can do about this as well, to lend the borough a hand in any way. Let us know. And then finally, we're excited to hear about the county's new program to invest in supporting business development in the Mon Valley communities. SEDCO has already begun gathering data, and we are ready to work with the borough and the county to reinvent our businesses. And that's my report.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief Wilhelm, when we get to the president's report, do you mind just sharing a little? I know you and I have corresponded about this recently, but specifically with regard to the property in question on the Sherman lot. All right, our next public comment is Walker to speak about the recent incident.
Okay.
Hello. My name is Louise Walker. And I only have one question, right, with the recent incident. I just want to make sure, or I'm just suggesting that some kind of training be done after this incident so that this doesn't occur again. And that's what all that, I hired someone from the outside to come in to do the training. And that's all I have to say. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
First, I want to thank you for your sweatshirt. I love that
Oh,
sweatshirt
thank
and thank you for your service as a veteran. I agree with you 100%. That it's time for us to recap and revisit trainings. What happened was absolutely beyond unacceptable. It's unacceptable in this borough and it's unacceptable from our staff and it will not be tolerated. One thing I can say about this council is first thing this morning, the flurry of emails were going back and forth. We needed to get this resolved immediately and he's gone.
Right.
He's gone. No one, and if anyone in this borough, any employee in this borough feels that was appropriate behavior, they go off,
Absolutely.
because you will not be welcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And-
I had the opportunity, sorry, Mr. Hanks, to speak with Victor. He's a wonderful young business owner and was in a position of doing his job as a business owner with a bright future. And I am appalled, I am upset still, but I'm grateful that we were swift and quick in making the change to remove this individual because calluses will fester. So we have a zero tolerance policy as long as I'm on my watch.
Thank you.
And I totally agree with that. I just wanted to add really quick. I was up at 7 this morning and I was the first person to receive this video and I was absolutely appalled. As the only Black man on council, this is something that hurt me very deeply. This is something as Black people we deal with every single day. And quite frankly, to even agree with you, I don't think training is enough. I think there's more things that need to be done because we need to combat this racism head on. This is an anti-racist borough. This is not just enough just to make these nice announcements, but we really need to show that we are not going to tolerate this anymore. I am so appalled and I'm so upset, and I just want to thank you for coming to speak on his behalf.
Thank you.
Seth Bush is our last public comment to speak about ongoing Woodstock Avenue speeding problems.
Hello, my name is Seth Bush. I live on Woodstock Avenue near Woodstock and Melrose. First of all, I want to thank and appreciate our council for taking swift, decisive action in response to this unacceptable racist behavior that we found out about today. I only just found out about a few hours ago. And I would agree with Councilman Quinn that we need to be an anti-racist borough, and we do need more than training, and we need some systems that are gonna stick. I don't know what those look like, but I know that you will work to figure it out. What I wanted to specifically speak to is my wife wanted to be here tonight, Tori Baggett. She was not feeling well, but she was almost hit on Woodstock Avenue as she shared her story a couple of council meetings ago. Chief, I know you said that you were planning to see what could be done in terms of having some more eyes on the street regarding speeding and running of stop signs until we can get our traffic advisory committee on board and activate our active transportation plan and get some new infrastructure. Unfortunately, I think infrastructure or enforcement is something that will be needed to tamper this bad behavior of people going very fast on our streets, endangering the lives of our residents. So Chief, either now or during your report later, we'd love to hear an update on what has been done. I will say I have not actually witnessed much, but I'm not on the street all the time like your people are. So maybe things have been happening that I haven't been seeing. So we'd definitely appreciate a report, and any data that you have in terms of enforcement actions would be appreciated as well. The final thing I'll say is in this room, next Wednesday, there will be a public meeting about the Cary Furnace development. There's some really exciting plans, including trail access, boat launch, some really exciting things. I encourage everybody to come out and check that out. I believe it's 5 o'clock. I think so.
5 to 7.
Yeah, that sounds right. 5 to 7 right here. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Thanks, sir.
Chief Watson, kind of like Chief will, I'll let you talk with the president's report. Thank you. That is our public comment. We're going to move to our council actions. Let's begin with our minutes.
I move to approve the minutes of the September 29th, 2025 council agenda meeting and the October 6th, 2025 council meeting.
Second.
Motion's on the table. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor to approve the motion as read, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, finance.
I move to approve the Borough of Swissville paid bills in the amount of $939,027.88.
Second.
Any discussion?
Pay the bill.
Pay the bills. All right, let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. For this next one, just fill in, 6.05% is the amount there for whoever makes it.
I move to approve resolution 25-30, authorizing a tax anticipation loan through First Commonwealth Bank in the amount of $1 million at an interest rate of 6.05%.
Second.
Put them on the table. Any discussion? All right, let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Personnel.
I move to appoint Chelsea Burkett to the 4-year term of the Transportation Advisory Committee effective immediately and expiring on December 31st, 2029.
Second.
Any discussion?
We interviewed all of these candidates and they're very interested in the transportation committee and the skill that I have on board. So I think I did hear the recommendation from she did. So look where it happened.
Absolutely. A lot of great applicants for that.
Absolutely.
All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to appoint Seth Bush to a 4-year term on the Transportation Advisory Committee effective immediately and expiring on December 31st, 2029.
Who's that?
Seth Bush.
Second. Any discussion?
No, he does amazing work in the Borough of Swissville and we're so pleased to have him on board with you guys. So, thank you, Seth.
Agreed. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. I heard none there. Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
I move to appoint Michael O'Connor to a 3-year term on the Transportation Advisory Committee effective immediately and expiring on December 31st, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to appoint Cindy Pauly to a 3-year term on the Transportation Advisory Committee effective immediately and expiring on December 31st, 2028.
Second. Wasn't sure. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to appoint Reese Mueller to a 2-year term on the Transportation Advisory Committee effective immediately and expiring on December 31st, 2027.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to appoint Brandon Jennings to a 2-year term on the Transportation Advisory Committee effective immediately and expiring on December 31st, 2027.
Second.
Those one did. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to appoint Katiana Grenier to a 1-year term on the Transportation Advisory Committee effective immediately and expiring on December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Contracts and agreements. We are going forward with these this month. Well, we hope to.
I move to approve a contract with Avelli Construction in the amount of $154,550 for the sidewalk replacement project at the Wiffle School Community Center located at 7604 Charleston Avenue.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve a contract with Lycar Roofing in the amount of $122,000 for the replacement of the roof of the Swissville Food Pantry located at 2028 Noble Street under CoStar's contract number 207082.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Opposed?
I move to approve a conditional use request by Powell to operate a daycare center at their facility located at 7136 McClure Avenue.
Proudly seconding.
Probably.
Proudly.
Proudly. That makes more sense.
Proudly.
Powerfully. I like it. Any discussion?
Just definitely a great opportunity to have a daycare right in that facility. I didn't get to speak to you last week. I had some technical difficulties, but I noticed that you said you were in different communities, and I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. And I'm glad that you're coming to Smithville to be able to help our babies. So thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Glad to have it.
All right, all in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
I move to award a contract for animal control services for the period of November 5th, 2025 through December 31st, 2027 to Sable Kennels.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to move to amend this, to limit this to a one-year contract. Does that allow, are we able to do that?
Well,
So we can revisit this next year.
basically, you're making a counter on it. So they have to go back to them and they would have to believe it. If the amendment is passed.
Yeah, we did advertise that we requested for those for 2-year contracts.
I still can't get over the hurdle of the complaints that we've received about. Sable, I was not here last week because I had to work. But that the level of service that's provided by this organization, is subpar based on the complaints we're getting from the community. And that is of concern to me. I will be voting no, but I would prefer if we table and revisit this at the 1 year.
Yeah, and I did, in your absence last week, express that you had some complaints. I mean, to date, none of those complaints have yet been communicated to the borough officially.
Well, it's not unofficial that they come from council.
Well, it's true. The borough office has not received any complaints, because that was what Chief Watson had asked for, was to have them call and complain, and that hasn't happened. Yeah, I mean, I understand they are not everyone's favorite. We were limited with our options. So I can understand the frustration, but I also want to make sure we have something with this.
Do we keep them on the month in the meantime?
Well, they've honored the expired contract since February, so they do respond and they're charging us at the previous rates on the previous contract. So we come up with a new rate.
I mean, I'm willing to vote yes on this.
There's a motion on that.
Okay.
So, no withdraw your motion, no item that's discussed.
No, there's no second. Then
Yes, okay.
That's
Ask for a second.
Great.
Second, then it tries, no items.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Go ahead and let's go down to building codes.
Move to enact ordinance 25-12, adopting the 2021 edition of the International Fire Code effective immediately.
Second.
Any discussion? We talked about this last week, but these next two, we had taken this action earlier, but not by ordinance, and so we need to go back and revisit it and then ensure that we do it by ordinance. So, all in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to enact ordinance 25-13, adopting the 2021 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code effective immediately.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the Turtle Creek Valley Council of Governments, establishing a joint Turtle Creek Valley Council of Government International Property Maintenance Code Board of Appeals.
Second.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to enact ordinance 25-14, authorizing the Borough of Swissville to join the Turtle Creek Valley Council of Governments International Property Maintenance Code Board of Appeals.
Second. Any discussion?
I just was gonna let Brittany read it. Stop reading right here.
No other discussion? All right, let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's go down to Borough Building.
I move to ratify a change order in an amount not to exceed $18,567 with Demarco Construction for the replacement of a storm sewer line on the project site.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's go down to our grant applications.
I move to approve resolution 25-23 to apply for funding to the local share account grant program for funding of phase 2 of the Smithville Food Pantry renovations.
Second.
Any discussion?
Most importantly, right now, I think it's really important, with everything that's going on in this world, that we continue to support this extremely important asset that we have here in Swissville. This food pantry is the only lifeline some of our folks have. And with the garbage that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania, it's only making people's lives harder, not easier. And so we as a borough, we're gonna have to take charge of what we have to do. And you have my 100% support for the food pantry now and forever.
I was there this morning setting up their distribution tomorrow, and one of the board members did approach and she had expressed such gratitude because there has been an outpouring of support from the broader community to say, hey, what do you need? And so they're working to connect with community members who are willing to support it, and neighbors helping neighbors, which is also a wonderful thing.
Also during this time, it's important to have some grace and some empathy. We all can be in that seat. I had the opportunity to speak to someone that I would have been thought, that we had lost their job. So just please be kind to people during this time, because everybody's dealing with a lot. And we need to show love now. Yeah.
All right, let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve resolution 25-24 to apply for funding to the local share account grant program for funding of phase 2 of the Woven School Community Center.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve resolution 25-25 to apply for funding to the local share account grant program for funding for vehicle and equipment upgrades.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve resolution 25-26 to apply for funding to the local share account grant program for funding for road construction, paving, and active transportation plan implementation.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Go down to the vacant property recovery program.
I move to approve resolution 25-27 to allow for the acquisition of parcel number 234-K-82 by the owner of adjacent property located at 2208 Lee High Street.
Second.
Any discussion?
If you have a vacant property next door, look it up. We want people to adopt their vacant properties next door. Please don't assume you can't afford it. If you have questions, call the borough and ask what's going on with any vacant properties. Please feel free. This is your opportunity to expand the footprint and your home. If you have a dog, you're gonna have to be able to fence it in double side, but at the same time, it's gonna increase the value of your property and help alleviate some of the costs of maintaining some of these vacant properties while enhancing the wealth of the individuals who are able to acquire these properties.
All right, all in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve resolution 25-28 to allow for the acquisition of parcel 235E185 by the owner of the adjacent property located at 2248 Manor Avenue.
Second.
Discussion. The same.
Same.
All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve resolution 25-29, authorizing the borough to apply for a Keystone Recreational Park and Conservation Fund grant to make permanent upgrades to the Carnegie Free Library of Swissville.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Lastly, council discretionary funds.
I move to freeze spending on council discretionary fund projects until critical programs at the federal level which negatively impacts Swissville residents are resolved.
Second.
Any discussion?
You have to just have to take precedence over all the other projects that we think is important. Our climate and our country is in a state of just chaos, and we want to make sure that our residents have whatever's needed to support them. So we're going to just take a step back for the normal programs, and if there's food takes precedence, we'll use the discretionary funds and make sure everybody is fed and taken care of, because you are our priority.
I agree with the councilwoman 100%. I think it's time. I think it's important for us to take a pause. I mean, the money that's already allocated or already spent, I should say. It's not gonna stop, but what has not been spent, a freeze, I think is appropriate at this time. So we can, to the best of our ability, respond to the needs of the borough and our residents. Even though ARPA funds were not designed for food, none of us thought we were gonna have, I'm gonna behave myself, a resident at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue who thinks that it's okay to shut down SNAP benefits to people that are actually in need. So if we need to reallocate those ARPA funds towards making sure our neighbors have the resources and the food that they need, so be it.
Then just to clarify, all funds have already been allocated, but as you said, not all have been spent or there are some that might be under contract that we are obligated to fulfill. But yes, there's still just over 100,000 that is left that is frozen if we enact this.
I'd just like to say that while I, on some level, agree with this freezing of spending, I also feel that it's important to recognize that the borough of Swissville is not, we're not in the business of donating, and while these funds could potentially be helping out a lot of people, I think that we need to be careful about how we are, again, spending and allocating our money, because we are ultimately a business. We are a borough that has things that need to get done, and our residents do come first, but I don't know that. I think that we at least have to acknowledge that this is not how we typically are or should be spending our money.
I think what's important for us to understand, we are in atypical times.
Right. It's just
Absolutely
that
atypical times.
we are not a charity. And
Well,
this
I
is,
would disagree that we're a business. We are a government that is responsible to the workers, or to the workers,
To the
workers, but also to the residents. Sorry, I'm a union guy during the day, so I automatically. go to work.
And,
But we are not a business. We are a government that's elected by the people to best represent and serve the people. And if that means we have to use ARPA funds that were intended for long-term community development for short-term stopgaps to help people eat, we gotta do it. We had a reasonable man in office we had a reasonable government when the ARPA funds were allocated. We have an unreasonable government right now who's willing to let people starve in the streets. So if that means we have to use the reasonable taxes to create the safest that we can for our members, for our community, members of our community, then we have to.
I'm sorry. I just have to speak. Can I come up here? I mean, I know this is not your point, like, this isn't the time, but I feel as though I really need to speak at this time. Can I please?
So you, yeah, I hate setting precedent.
I'm
I don't
not
like
gonna be
doing it.
long.
You and I had a nice conversation
Yes, we
beforehand,
did.
so I would love to hear your
But-
opinion.
You're talking to somebody that's a furloughed employee. I'm also president of our union, all right? So like you said, it is bad times. I get calls all the time from people that cannot eat. I'm a disabled veteran, so I'm okay. But when my fellow workers and people that I work with, they can't eat, they can't pay their bills, they can't do this, they can't do that. I have to agree with you, because you all work for us, we don't work for you, right? So we elect you all, right?
Do what's right.
So you do what's right now. If the people need to eat, then I think that's what needs to happen right now. These people need to eat. Because there's people out there struggling. See, you have a job, right? You get to go up, you get to go to work and everything, right? I'm not getting paid. I'm sitting at home and all I do is rely on my veterans disability. So I need you to please look at it like that there's people out there really struggling. And I understand there's people out there that's
I help to distribute food and everything to
Right.
people that are not able, I'm not saying that I
Right,
am
but like
against
he
this,
said-
I'm just saying that we need to recognize that this is not.
This is
how-
normal times.
It's not.
It
This is
doesn't
not
mean,
normal
it
times.
doesn't mean you can't recognize it.
Right, but here's the thing though.
I
I just wanted to make sure I said something. I'm a furloughed employee, and that's why I'm getting kind of like, you know.
My day job, I work
Yeah.
with people all around the country who have been furloughed,
Yes,
who literally can't pay their bills.
yes,
And in my position, I find ways to try to support their needs. And if they can't pay their bill, I still provide them empathy and understanding, because we are understanding that these are not the same times as it was 4 years ago. And if you have never been in a position of what it's like not to have a meal the next day, you won't understand.
or you on your third pay.
Or you on
This is your third
Yeah.
pay.
I had an Uber over here, and a young man just lost his job. And his
Exactly.
wife has to pay one medication for $250. And he don't know how he's gonna pay for his wife's medication, and this young man was probably 30. It's not, and that's what I was gonna say, it's federal government people,
Yes,
it's people who maybe their jobs just don't have enough. My particular job laid off 50 people. You know what I mean? And it's like every day is something new, and we have to be kind and mindful and change when the situations change. We gotta learn, we can't stay business as usual. We have to focus on and I'm here for the people.
Everybody
I don't know
here
what the
wants
rest of
to
the
take
people is
advantage.
here for, but I'm here for the people. I was giving $7,000 to the food bank before it wasn't even a problem. Because I know that I'm here for the least of them. And if you carry that mindset, then you know the importance of doing what's right when it's time to be right. Because we can all be good we can all be important when everything is okay. But what do you do? What Martin Luther King say? What do you do in the times of chaos? And what side are you on? What side are you on?
exactly.
I apologize that I wasn't able to be there tonight. I'm under the weather. And I know I introduced this idea last week, and I just wanted to say again, for those that maybe didn't hear, I'm approaching the end of my term. But if even $1 out of these funds can be used to keep one of our residents fed, it will be the most important thing I've done while I've been on this council. And I again will emphasize what I said last week. When the federal government fails us, that is when it is of the utmost importance for local government to step up and ensure that residents are taken care of. And that's why I believe this should move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Miser.
And I'm sorry, really, I wasn't directing you. I was just so passionate about the whole situation, not you specifically, but just the situation was just overwhelming. You know what I mean?
There's
Yes,
a lot going on.
it's personal.
We're just here doing whatever we can.
I wanna reiterate as well. I mean, this was not, I know what you're fighting.
Yeah,
Okay, there's no question about it. I just, these are atypical times.
it is.
And our community, every single resident, every single person who lives in the borders deserves respect. And leaving someone hungry in the street is not. And so I agree with you that these funds originally under a rational government were designed for building up communities. Well, guess what? Sometimes we have to make sure that we're making sure there's a community here.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is what community is about. Community isn't about when things went well, unfortunately. Community is about when things are wrong and things are tight, and how are we going to help the community out of this storm? And this is what makes community.
Thank you for all those comments. Just to bring us back onto the motion that is on the floor right now, just to clarify, we are not authorizing any particular spending of this at this point in time. This is merely a ceasing of spending so that we, can pause on that. So that if a need were to arise, that we have an avenue to pursue it. So this is, again, we're not devoting ourselves to or committing ourselves to any particular spending at this time of it. But we want there to be funds there. Push comes to shove, and we get to.
And I would welcome an emergency session or an emergency meeting if what's deemed necessary to reality spot.
So to that end, let's vote on it. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's our business for the evening. We have a few reports to go through. First, we have the call report, Ms. Stribling.
Yeah, that sometimes, and afterwards, like a little bit. But I just have a few points. We have a holiday dinner coming up December 18th. Our next year's Turtle Creek Valley Cog annual dinner is scheduled for Friday, February 20th, and we'll get more information on that as it comes along. We have no meeting next month in November. Factors, it's important to sign up early for factors, Greg, so if you haven't spoken to Amanda, get on that. And secondly, she wants to come to speak to all the different boroughs, so can you kind of coordinate a time for her to come and talk to the residents, so they know exactly what the Turtle Creek Valley Cog does and how it supports our local borough. And that's our report.
Thank you. Ms. Alfonso, or Dr. Alfonso Wells is not here tonight, so there's no, I presume no connect report. President's report, I just have one thing that I'll share in light of some of the conversations we've had with two chiefs. Again, food insecurity is for sure on the forefront of a lot of folks' minds right now. The church that I pastor is providing Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Pre-prepared meals. So if anyone knows of anyone, feel free to pass the word on. We're located at 7327 McClure Avenue. It's called Restoration Community Church. And yeah, you don't have to reserve anything ahead of time. You can just walk in. There are limited supplies, but we didn't run out on Tuesday, so I don't think we'll run out tomorrow. But so I just want to throw that out there. It's just another avenue that is happening for folks to be able to get fed. That being said, let's go to Chief Wilhelm, if you could speak on those properties that Mr. Ward was asking about.
Yeah, specifically, I believe it was about 1910 Monongahela Avenue in the Sherman Bluff. This is one of those thorns in our side, if you will, that
Can you make sure you speak up and make sure she can hear you?
this is one of those thorns in our side. The vast majority of issues that we deal with are resolved without having to go through the courts. This one's already been through the courts and adjudicated and found guilty and fined. And I don't recall the exact number of times, but we're ongoing again and starting another process. But when we go through the process and they're fine with 30 days, but there's a appeal period to go before we can initiate action again. And code enforcement is limited to issuing the violation notices, that going before the court and issuing fines. Unfortunately, the system that we work in is terribly broken. We levy, there's a couple $100,000 of fines, I believe, this year, and we actually collected like $500 for it. So again, I would say probably 95% of the issues that we deal with get resolved without undergoing a citation because people are responsible and responsive. This particular individual, I was there the day that the car wrecked into the storefront. I called him personally on the scene and he was supposed to address it. Then when we initially sent notices, he had some health problems and was in the hospital. So we gave him some grace and gave him some time and then he didn't do anything. So we cited him. Short of the borough expending public funds to repair it and then leave the property, that's kind of limited. That's the extent of what we can keep doing. And, we also looked at, potentially turning those fines into a lien, but we went through this process before, ironically, 2 doors down in the Sherman Block several years ago, and we had $10,000 worth of fines against one individual. But in working with the solicitor, it was determined that you can't turn criminal fines into a lien on the property itself. They follow the person, not the property, and there's a whole bunch of other legal aspects involved. And I was in court with one of the assistant solicitors, Gavin Robin. We had that discussion yesterday, and he reaffirmed that. So we're kind of at that point where all we can do is keep citing him, get it. He doesn't even show up for the hearings. He's been found guilty in absentia and fined, and we'll just try to get progressively greater fines. And I don't know. It's a difficult situation to be in. It's very frustrating for us because it's like, wash, rinse and repeat. And to no change in the end. So we're doing the best we can with the tools that we've been given, and we'll continue to work towards trying to get some resolution.
Chief Wilhelm, is there anything we could do about all the bricks laying on the sidewalk and just clean it up? Are we allowed to, as a borough or individuals, go there and pick up those bricks? So
Yes.
it doesn't look so.
Yes, we can. And, there's one of the other questions that has come up along the way was the structural integrity of the building. I was there at the day of the accident and inspected the property immediately, and there's no danger because there's a beam across the front. So it's just a facade, a facial wall. But yeah, we can do that. I know that some of it has been cleaned up. I think some of it's been kind of kicked back out into the sidewalk and. But yeah, the borough or an individual, sure. I mean, I can't give individual permission to go on private property. The borough can. But, the borough, perhaps, we can go over and try to remove some of that debris if it's back out into the sidewalk. Yeah.
It just disappears, but.
Chief, if
Yes,
I
sir.
could just reiterate and kind of talk out there, if you don't mind, because I'm getting a lot of messages of concern of safety, because you share this way. So everybody hears, because there's always often an issue of hearing.
As far as the building structure.
Building structure.
Yeah, it's just it's a storefront facade, facial wall. It's not structurally integral to the building. There's a beam across the front. So there's no danger of the building collapsing because that storefront has been removed. It's not part of the structural component, if you will. But nonetheless, we've had some other issues there. We had a small fire in there because there was somebody that somehow got into the building and was sleeping in there and started a fire a few months back, and that reiterated the process again. Yeah, it's problematic. There's no doubt about it. And we're trying to do the best we can, like I said, with the tools that we have.
Do we think it's necessary to put some sort of, like cones or something, or barriers to prevent people from, people are really concerned about it. I think that a lot of what we're hearing is people are concerned that the building's gonna fall on them. And I appreciate Chief's clarity on that, but also maybe the tripping hazards and things, unless the bricks go away.
The bricks go away, then there's.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chief Watson, if you don't mind responding to Mr. Bush's question about Woodstock.
I wasn't prepared to answer a question about numbers specifically. I have to look those up. I know some enforcement action was taken in that area since your complaint. I know they've done traffic details down there periodically through the period of time since we last talked about it. And I can talk to you more about it after a meeting about specific topics. So, okay, in the next meeting, I can add some numbers about what's being.
That's good, thank you. All right, let's move on to the mayor's reports. Mayor Smith-Floyd.
So last weekend, we had our Halloween parade and our community days, and I just wanna say thank you to everyone involved. It was a wonderful celebration. Everywhere from, Borough Council for allocating some funds for the day to, Sarah and Greg and Shay and Jordan and Chief Watson and Chief Wilhelm for making the day just run perfectly smooth. Woodland Hills High School Band was amazing as usual. Their halftime, performance on the field was just spectacular. We just, we have very much to be proud of with them. And Woodland Hills High School band parents, they contributed so much to our day. So thank you to all who participated, our community groups and our churches. Yeah, they made memories for our kids. So thank you for everyone involved.
And thank you, Mayor, for sharing that. Years after years after years.
It's my extreme pleasure. I'm unfortunate, I don't have any little kids. Yeah. Parades,
We're allowed to act like it.
this makes memories for our kids, and that's
We can never-
what it's all about.
Mr. Josh on his costumes year after year.
Oh, wow.
Well, okay, sorry. Okay.
So the new Swiss Valiant's out. It's a wonderful resource for everything holiday that is happening in Swissvale. Make sure you grab a copy or read it online. With that said, our holiday kickoff is Saturday, December 6th. And it starts with Nebion Noble. It's a little holiday market at the Still Mill Distillery from noon to 3. Stop there and enjoy Noble Street, and then make your way over to the Swissvale Fire Department at 5 o'clock, where there will be a holiday market, and tree lighting and menorah lighting at 7 p.m. And hopefully Santa makes a visit, and we'll have crafts for the kids and refreshments, and it's a lovely kickoff to our holiday. And that's my report. Comments, questions, or concerns? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the Borough Manager's report, Mr. Batchman.
Thanks, sir. First thing is borough buildings, new borough buildings, still slightly ahead of schedule. We've had one change order so far, which was discussed tonight, ratified tonight by council. We are at about 32% of the budget expended for the project. And like I said, we're only $18,000 change order on the first 2.5 million. So pretty happy with that so far. Veterans Day is November 11th. Borough building will be closed on November 11th. However, there will not be a change to trash or recycling collection that week. Those will continue on schedule, but there will be no leaf collection on Tuesday, the 11th. The agenda meeting for the December agenda meeting will be held November 19th, which is 2 weeks from tonight. That'll be via Zoom. That was advertised last year as part of our schedule. We will have that via Zoom. Typically, we also were going to do the budget meeting that night, but I spoke with the council president earlier today, and we're going to move the budget hearing until December 3rd, and that will be here in this room. The reason for that is we have the regional police force that we are working with right now, establishing them. They have not adopted the budget yet because they're a new agency. We've only had one meeting. We will have to, they won't be able to adopt their budget until December 10th. Or December 8th, sorry. So we can't adopt ours until they adopt theirs because we funded theirs. So, and there's some numbers, some critical numbers missing right now in their budget, like such as healthcare insurances and workers' comp, which are all in process to get those quotes. But until we have those, I don't have a final number for our budget. So I've asked President Nansel if we can delay that until December 3rd so we can give a better budget presentation. However, that requires us to have an extra meeting to adopt the budget, and that will be any time after the 14th because the advertisement will be placed on the 4th. And so there's a 10-day advertising period. We could do it all anytime after the 14th. So on December 3rd, we can set that public meeting and I'll advertise it or whatever day. And it can just be a Zoom meeting because that the agenda or to adopt the budget and then tax ordinances and any fee ordinances that go along with it that we do every year. And the last thing is the Civil Service Commission will meet on November 13th, next Thursday at 6 p.m. That is a Zoom meeting. If anybody wants to participate or view it, called Borough Building by noon. It will be a Zoom link for that meeting. And that is to ratify the list of certify the list for police officers. So we can make recommendations for hiring at the December meeting. And that will be effective, at the end of December for the, for new employees for the new department. So that's,
Thank you.
What's the date, Amber?
so service,
Yeah.
November 13th at 6 p.m.
Next, we have our Borough Engineers Report, Mr. Ziskow.
Thank you, Mr. President. With regard to the two projects that were awarded this evening, as you know, we had to delay them for financing purposes with the government shutdown. I'm going to work very diligently to get the roof on the food pantry prior to the inclement weather that's due anytime. With regard to the Wilkins Community Center project, I'm gonna try to get some of the preliminary work done, but I would prefer not to either have part of it torn up for the winter or have new concrete down with the salt and the winter road treatment. So I'm probably gonna try to talk to the contractor about delaying that concrete work until spring. Then when the weather is good, we'll get it all done at one time and it'll give it a year to cure beforehand. The only other thing I wanted to mention is I'll be working with Mr. Batchy on the LSA applications, providing him with cost estimates and other details that he needs to get them submitted on time. Thank you. That's all.
All right, we are up to our Water Authority report, Ms. Tracy Crombie Collins.
Good evening. This is the overview of the Wilkinsburg Pendleton Water Authority board meeting that occurred on October 28th. Penvest Grant Phase 3 had 55 replacements since the last report. Final restoration is up to date on contractual obligations, which is 45 days. The paving contractor has 3 crews out and the concrete contractor has a team out. So those should all be done before the weather changes. Penvest Grant Phase 4, the application was submitted before the end of October. Water treatment chemicals, lowest bids were accepted, an LSA grant resolution was approved. The 2026 budget process is underway. HomeServe USA mailings have begun. You might have, if you are signed up for announcements, you got either an email, a text, or a call about that. And mainline breaks, there were 41 system-wide since the last board meeting, 4 in Swissvale. There were 183 distribution services or repairs, 16 were in Swissvale. Other business was conducted, documents are available online. An executive session was held prior to the adjournment of the regular meeting. And if you see any or have any water issues, please contact customer service at 412-243-6200. That's my report. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McTiernan, our solicitors report.
Yes, Mr. President, I don't have anything to add to the agenda. I think there are at least there's one executive session issue, which is within the scope of the section. So.
Yes, I had written myself a note that I was supposed to announce and I forgot that we had real estate discussions. So we will be meeting for executive session after this. Anything
That's
else?
all I have.
Okay. Any other announcements? Hearing none, I'd love to entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:56 p.m.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Adjourned.